do draw our shapes. So let's look at our sphere. And the sphere is a round shape as a ball. And our light source are actually coming from both directions. So it's a little bit tricky to see actually where the shadow goes. So let me just turn this light off, and you already can see that if the light source is over here, this is where the most light area is. And then we have these shadows, main shadows and shades of the sphere to represent the 3D shape. The same we're looking at the pyramid, which is where the light comes is the lighter, then the medium light and the dark light. We will focus today on the most regular shapes, which is sphere, pyramid, square and cylinder. So with the sphere, to draw it very neatly and round, what we need to do, as remember of the tips of drawing, first we're going to draw our guidelines, and that is like a cross, very light pencil drawing. And when we draw, you see my hand is, we used to draw as writing, yes, like a writing hand, which is quite locks your hand and you can't do light and straight lines. So try to practice your hand by putting your pencil further away from the tip, and your hand movement is going from your wrist, okay? So that will help you to draw light and straight lines. To draw the sphere, we need to draw the very light lines that will help us to draw the equally in both sides. So I'm gonna draw, and as you can see, I'm drawing a lot of lines to make sure I feel the right straight lines are drawn. It's okay, like you don't have to do it one, and straight. You can't. It's impossible because your hand is naturally, is not the ruler that, makes that. But please don't use the ruler because it helps to train your hand to finally do the straight lines without using ruler, because you kind of train your muscle. So it's okay if even a little bit jiggly or wiggly the line is. We are practicing here and we are doing our best. So now if I draw that I want my sphere to be this size, I'm gonna do one dot over here. Then I'm gonna put my pencil and I'm gonna measure till the center of our cross, and I'm gonna put the same size as here. That way it's easier for me to know that these are the same when I'm measuring. So I'm just gonna put again, and I'm gonna make the same here. Again, I'm measuring, turning around and putting a dot. So you can see now they're all the same size. And now I'm trying to connect. And if you can see, I'm gonna start like going around using my hand movement, and whatever I see that is maybe because I draw that lightly, I can now rub it out the lines that I don't want to be here, but the ones who are good for my sphere. And because we're gonna shade it, it's okay, we had made the more lines than one. And so now we can rub it out all our guidelines. So this is our sphere. Now we're gonna draw the pyramid. And for the pyramid, again, we're gonna draw the straight line. We're gonna measure how big we want. So I'm putting 2 dots, bottom and the top. Then I'm gonna draw 2 lines from the top, and I'm gonna do the dots a bit lower than the front, because this is our front, so it's always longer than the other sides. So, and then we're gonna connect the lines together. So that's our pyramid. Now I'm gonna use another page for the cube. So first we're gonna draw a square. And to draw the cube, we kind of imagine that all the lines will connect into the one point, meeting point. And now we're just gonna follow this line. We're gonna follow over here. You see, it's the same way going. And then this line, we're gonna do the same way going. The same would be like, you know, for the inside of the cube. So we're gonna connect the same way. So remember when we were talking of the tips of drawing, that if you draw it would be good to show the inside of the cube by drawing, then you know that you did correctly. But this time I'm just gonna rub it out because we're gonna shade it. So again, all the guidance lines, we're gonna shade it. So next will be a cylinder. So cylinder, again, to make it equally from both sides, we draw the line, then we draw the top and the bottom. We're gonna measure that we want the size of the cylinder to be that wide. So we have the same. Then again, I'm measuring and I'm drawing the same at the bottom. Now we need to draw like an oval shape over here to show the cylinder that it's like round, and over here. And then we connect the lines together. Again, I'm using lots of times, I'm drawing the same line, and it's okay. It's a great practice to draw the straight lines by using our hand. And you see my pencil is far away from my hand to make that feel distance, to to control our hand easier when we are drawing. So again, I will rub it out all my guidelines and the inside of the sphere. And as you can see, then we have a round bottom, and in the middle, in the top, will show that we can see the top of the sphere. So For the sphere, we're gonna shade in random marking, and for the pyramid we're gonna do hatching. For the square we're gonna do cross hatching, and for the cylinder we're gonna do blending. So random marking for the sphere, as we know that the light source is coming from that side, that means this is the lightest part of my sphere. This is where the shadow will drop, and then we're having this kind of light coming back to us, and this is where it's going to be the medium shading, and this is again where the shadow will be, and our shadow on the table. So let's get started. So the random marking is like, you know, you're doing like random wiggly, squiggly lines. And as you can see, first I started with the light. Then I'll take a bit stronger pencil, where we said, like, you know, so this is where my shading will start. And I'm getting like a bit medium shading here, and then again I'm gonna just do a bit harder over here. Lighter over here. And even where it's like really light, we still need to mark making, but we're gonna do very, very light. We're just gonna do very, very light, just a little bit, and then slowly we're gonna like blend in, slowly, slowly. Don't be scared that at first it looks like a bit funny, but the more you blend, the better it will start looking. Okay, and now we have the shadow, and shadow usually is the darkest as our, so we're gonna take 4B, so it's gonna show that it's darker than the actual object. So it gives us a bit. So that called random marks. The reason we were using random marking because the sphere is round, and the random marking makes that sphere looking more ovally and 3D. For the pyramid, we're gonna do hatching, and the reason of that because hatching is more lines. So again, the light source is here, so this part is gonna be the lightest. And this part is going to be our like a shadow part where it's going to be the darkest. But this, we're going to hatch starting. You don't worry if you can move your paper if you need to achieve the best hatching shading. So we're going to start from this line going towards the light, okay? Because even though this is all light, we still have here a bit darker than here. So naturally our hand usually lose the powers at the end. So that's why we're gonna start hatching this way. So let's get started. So as you can see, I'm using my H pencil and I'm holding my pencil far away from the tip, and I'm not doing this way. I'm doing one line at a time. Yes? So if you feel you need to practice, you can practice over here. But then we're following the line because we want to show again the 3D of this image, and we're gonna go lines after lines towards the end of the pyramid. And if you look now, you see that, you know, the line's going towards that direction, and it's already making an optical illusion of that 3D shape. Now over here, we need to make it darker because it's our shady side. So I'm gonna choose our dark one, the soft pencils, which is 3B. And I'm gonna use now, I'm even, you know, pushing a bit harder, and I'm gonna use my powers to make it a bit darker this side, and shading this way. Now again, we're gonna go from the other side, and we're gonna do the same, but a bit maybe lighter, just to show. So as you can see, now our pyramid looks 3D by using hatching technique. From our other page where we did the cube and a cylinder, for the cube we're going to do cross hatching. And again, if our light source is coming from this side, so this is the lightest, this is like medium actually. This is the lightest because it's on top, as you can see on our shapes like this. You see, like this is on top the lightest, this is the medium, and then it's getting dark on the side. So this is what we're expecting from this cube to be. So we're gonna take first for medium, we're gonna take, like, you can do HB or B. So let's take HB, and because the light is coming from here, so it is gonna be like a bit shady over here more than here because the light source is from that part. So with the cross hatching, what we do is we're using lines in different direction, and that makes a cross hatching technique. And the more you cross hatching, the more darker it started to be. And as you can see, I'm moving my paper in any direction I needed to achieve this cross hatching technique. And again, as you can see, I'm using the lines, not my zigzaggy shading. And the lines has create this cross hatching technique. Okay, so let's get started. Let's finish our, so this is my medium cross hatching. So play around, see how it goes. And again, I chose for the cube a cross hatching because the cube itself is a straight lines, straight sides object. As you can see at here, I'm just gonna do like a light finishing. So that part is my medium. Now this is light, so I'm gonna take H, and again I'm starting from the side which is a bit darker because the light source is here, and I'm just continuing my cross hatching. So how I feel, and I'm just gonna do like a light, not hard, cross hatching over here. Okay, and now this is our darker side. So we're gonna use our the most soft, or you can even have a 6B, and we're gonna do cross hatching the dark side of our cube. This way. And again, at the end, I'm gonna lighten up a bit, not too dark. Not everywhere is the same. So as you can see, sorry, this is, you need to look after, try avoid, when you're sketching, it's good actually just to use maybe some paper to, like, you know, where you already did, because you know the pencil is just leaving the mark on your hand and it starts, so it's good even to use actually a paper when you sketching with the pencil. that your hand would make a mark here, not on your picture. But that's okay for now. We can always use, like, you know, a little bit of the pencil just to make it like the light source is coming here. And, you know, again, this is the lightest part. So this is our cross hatching. Now, when we are finished with our shapes and practicing shading, we're gonna cut them off and we're gonna use them as our picture, which we will do as a Picasso Cubism. So the easiest way would be is just to take out from your sketch pad and now I'm just gonna cut my all shapes. Take your time, no rush. So when we cut off our shapes, I'm gonna take a new paper and the glue, and now we're gonna play, like, you know, this game as putting them into like a collage, and maybe even, as we can see on this picture, cutting them into, maybe I will cut in half and make, you know, some, thinking of some ideas how I'm gonna lay out. Maybe so, maybe it's over here, like it's, our shapes are breaking. What do you think? Maybe I could cut this one too. And looks like a Pac-Man eating the pyramid. Maybe it's fun. And I'll do that way. And this way. That's when I like what I shaped here. I'm just gonna use my glue. Oops. And I'm just gonna start sticking my picture, my cut shapes into places I want them to be. Because this one is on top, so first I need to stick, you see, like we need to think how we're gonna stick, so I need to stick first these because they are the underneath all of the shapes. So I'm just gonna put them over here, and then I'm gonna put this one over here. And then I'm gonna put this one on top like that. one we're gonna put like this. So this is my shape disaster. Okay, so now we're gonna use our marker. As you can see over here, they're having some lines going on. So I'm thinking, you know, like now you can do like a random line drawing, and so it's up to you how you want to do it and what lines you want to draw. Maybe draw like, you know, some patterns. So maybe I'll draw round lines. Maybe again some lines over here. Maybe some lines over here. So it's up to you how you want to do your picture. Maybe we can even do some, you know, dots somewhere. Now we have also fin liner. So again, we can use that fin liner, and maybe some parts I will do maybe some, like, you know, pretending like jiggling, writing, or, you know, signing something. So that gives a fine line drawing. Then we're gonna use a bit, we're gonna take another like pencil, and you see like there's sometimes they even doing, you know, random on the cross hatching or shading of one of the shapes, like, you know, making some more. So maybe I was thinking I could do like over here some shading here. It feels like here I want to put a bit, or maybe even I'll use a marker, and maybe I'll do like a cross hatching with the marker. Then maybe it's always good also just to look from the far away distance and see, you know, where I can add a bit more, maybe darker. More cross hatching. Where else we can color in a bit, maybe darker, maybe over here. I'll do this part all black, giving a bit so maybe over here. Two dark lines. Maybe here. not, maybe not too busy that, it's not going to be too much overwhelmed. But it feels like, we did a bit of this random drawing, and I feel like maybe somewhere else I will do like a little bit of that, like reflecting that, what I did up, I'll do like down here. And I think I'm pretty happy what I achieved here. So this is my drawing of cubism, practicing my shapes and sketching and shading and incorporating into creative picture